Hi, Chanel here with another addition to your So Chanel fashion playlist, bringing you tips, tools, and techniques to help you with your fashion evolutions. So if you're new here, consider subscribing for your weekly dose of designer inspiration. Well, I found these in my donation pile. I think I cleaned out my closet a while back and never took these to the donation pile. But I wanted to do a color blocking project, and I thought there's 3 great pieces here that I could turn into one piece. I thought that would be pretty fun. And I really liked this hoodie at one point. I started with the blue, and then I went and bought 2 more. And what I really liked about it was inexpensive, and I liked the detail in them. They covered all the seams in the hood and then in the neckline, and even in the back hood, so that when it drapes over the back, it didn't have those ugly overlock seams in it, and it looks good. So I also like the way they did the little seam on this shoulder seam. I thought that was clever. They just overlapped it and stitched it. So and even in the sleeve part here, really just a little extra detail on these. But what I didn't like about this little hoodie was it was square, and then it had narrow sleeves, and it was just a little uncomfortable to wear. Just kind of felt a little restricting. So my idea is I'm going to do some different colors using the other hoodies and make some shapes like circle and square, overlapping them. Maybe make this a little bit wider and put a color strip down here, and then just making it a square with the sides sewn up to the armhole, and just making it a cute little hoodie to wear over a tank top during the summer. So I'm going to get started. All right, well, I've got my hoodie kind of mapped out. I've used my friction pens to draw right on the hoodie when it's on the dress form, so I can kind of see where it's laying. And these iron right off, so I don't have to worry about permanent marks on here. I think I'm going to be doing a peach strip horizontal across this part. And I'm going to use that part of the hoodie part on the peach. That'll be interesting to put in here. Just hopefully don't have any ugly seams showing. Then I'm going to do a vertical strip of white going down this side. And I'm going to cut these sleeves off and make them as big as, make this as wide as that seam right here, and try and utilize this seam too. And then the white will continue on to the back through here, and then it will get cut off with a big peach patch back here, and then it will probably stop here because I probably won't have enough peach fabric. And I think I'll continue it with white to see how much I have here. And I want to do white because I'm going to do a white patch going vertically down the front right here, and then have it connect on the side. So I'm just going to make it a big box shape. And then the hood, I'm going to do an applique situation because I don't want to put ugly seams in the back of the hood, so that when it drapes down, you don't see ugly seams on it. I'm just going to do like a circle and a square or triangle kind of mesh together and do like a little applique thing. So I'm going to get started on this. I got it laid out on the table, and the first thing I need to do is cut these sleeves off. I'm just going to chop them right here. It's always the hardest part, is cutting the things off. And I'll get into that trim part later. And then I need to cut this up the sides. I have to go right through the hem here and the drawstring. I don't think I'll be using that. And try and get close to the seam so I can lay this out. Here's one side. Okay, I've been playing with some pins here to see what kind of dimensions I want, and I think I want to do I'm going to start with, I'm just going to do segment at a time. And I think I'm going to start with this vertical white piece here. And visually looking at it, I think I want it to be finished about a 3-inch piece. I have it only around 2.5 as I have it pinned, but I'm just going to cut a little extra in case. So I'm going to cut my white piece of strip at least 4 inches to allow for the seam allowances. And then I'm going to cut this shirt here a 1/2 inch past here because I'm going to like overlap that. I also cut off the hem or that drawstring here, make it a lot easier to cut through. I just got to figure out how to cut here and what I'm going to do with it. I guess I'm going to have to cut over here and just kind of patch it together. So that is how I'm going to start this. I'm just going to cut and eyeball it about a 1/2 inch over. And the good thing with this is I'm just going to overlap the fabric over the white. It's always hard to get started because you don't know if you're doing it right, and once you mess up. But I do have 3 of them. I have a backup. I'm going to cut right across here. Yes. Okay. Now I'll cut a 3-inch piece from the white right here, and then use this other part here for my pattern because I'm going to make this part peach. I think that whole other armhole is going to be peach, and then I'll use the armhole from the other one. Okay, I got my first strip in. I just cut that piece, and then I laid it so that the blue is overlapping the white, and I put the pins in where I'm going to actually put the seam. I'm going to sew the seam, and I made sure that the pins were kind of in the center of where those overlap also, so that I don't miss that part. And that's looking good so far. I'm going to go sew this. And now I have to start on another piece. So I just take it in segments. I think I'll have a whole shirt in a little while. So I think my next segment I wanted to do is in this shoulder yoke here, right into the hoodie part. And I think I'm going to cut one part right into the bottom here so I don't lose too much of the detail in there, and it doesn't get too, you know, clunky in there. Then I'll probably cut it right here and then just overlap that with the other piece. And so I'm going to cut this off here and then lay it onto the peach and get that exact part because I want to keep this intact as much as I can. All right, there's that piece. And now I have to lay this onto here. I'm actually going to cut this apart first before I do that. It'll be a little bit easier. I'm going to go and sew these 2 seams. Talk about patching it together. You could do this if you ruined a favorite shirt, got a tear on it or something, and just do like a patchwork thing. Be kind of cool. All right. Well, I got the other patch pin. It's looking pretty cool. It's going to be pretty patched up, this little shirt. But one segment at a time. I think it'll come out pretty good. The white looks great as a vertical stripe down here. And then the peach, this was the part I was concerned about, but I think that's going to go in there really well. I'm going to put a little hand stitch there and kind of fuse that together. And then this is the other part too, where I didn't have that part coming up here. So what I'm going to do is put a little piece of fusing in here and hand stitch that closed real close so that it looks good and doesn't flop around like that. So I think my next part to tackle is the back piece here. I'm probably doing peach with that, and I gotta figure that part out. One segment at a time. Okay, got my strip situated. Started at the shoulder seam right here, and here's my sleeve edge here. And then you just got to pin this down. This fabric is starting to really curl, so you got to just make sure it, you got it controlled, and put a lot of pins in there to keep the curl from happening. And then my goal is to just do it 1/2 inch over on each side, so I keep it as straight as possible. And right here, I'm going to add a patch, which will be kind of cute here too. I'll sew this first and then continue that, and then sew a long straight stitch. So I have this all laid out here. I squared off all of this, cut it, trimmed it. It's all ready to add my bottom from the peach shirt. I gotta make sure I get the drawstring in the front. And that would be bad, have the drawstring in the back. But then again, it could be something different. So now I have to stretch this just a little bit on there to get it to fit. I'm gonna start at the side seams and pin this, the blue going down, and I'll get it started, and then I'll have to put it on the sleeve board to get into it, because this is a little tricky. This one actually has a little double thread here. So I'll start at one side seam and then also pin the other seam and then stretch it to fit. And then sew it, and I'll show you how that looks. Okay, we have finished our hoodie, and now it has a little more personality. A lot more personality. It's all chopped up. We had 3, now we have 1. This looks pretty cute with the little circle in the back. Kind of, you wear it back like this, and you have a little white spot back there, and then all the little colors and patchwork. We do a patchwork skirt at my school, and the kids will appreciate this. It's I love teaching patchwork because it really gets you at the machine a long time, and learning the reverse stitch and just little spots and then sewing, and it helps the students a lot. But this is how the hem turned out here. So I didn't like that drawstring, but I like the raw edges a little bit more there, and pretty patchworked up here. Ran out of some spots, so looks pretty good. Might be pretty fun to wear. It definitely has a little bit more personality now, and might keep it. So tell us what you would have done with the 3 little hoodies. If you have any ideas what you would have done, I would love to hear. So leave those in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.